Good afternoon, traders. This is Christian from Trade Trade Group, and this is your end of day market recap for Tuesday, June 25th. Take a look at the leaderboard today. What's right back on the top is the semiconductors, and NVIDIA had a big day. Tech had a big day. The Qs led today. They were up 1.1%. We'll go through all the technicals as well as in the indices, as well as some of the single stock movers which I thought were very interesting in terms of some of the names, momentum names, as well as some of the other areas of the market really coming back that have been showing some recent weakness. Risk disclaimer in front of you. Everything that we're going through is for information purpose only, not giving out any advice or recommendations. Please read the full risk disclaimer right there. Bitcoin was also a big mover today too. That found support right where it needed to. So before we kind of get to some of the single stock movers, I'm just going to go through some of the technicals in the indices. S&P, so bounced today, but did not get back above that 5 period moving average. I don't know that it needs to do it right away, but it's something that I think would be good for confirmation purposes. Also, what I tend to watch is the 1 hour value areas for some confirmation, for some clues, for some signals, because certainly it's a little bit easier to look at, especially when something is when the price is way above the value area for the month, we can kind of look to see what's materializing in terms of for the week. Reminder that when we're looking at this value area for the week, it's based on all of last week's activity, right? And that's why it becomes significant, is because we're kind of looking at ranges, and that bottom of value, top of value can be quite significant. Note that we kind of broke below there yesterday. We had a lot of fighting here at the bottom of value today, and we broke back in. So nice. I think that's a good place to kind of start. And as long as and then of course, what's important here is to have levels to trade against. To say, okay, I'm going to try some trades here, provided that the overall market can kind of sustain, not break down. That level to watch there in S&P futures is 55.2775, right? That's right in here. Let's go to the Qs, because obviously the Qs have been acting a lot differently than what the S&P has been doing. Let's do the same exercise here, and we'll start with the daily chart. Daily chart. Same thing, did not get back above the 5 period moving average. Again, why am I so concerned with the 5 period moving average? Because it's a really good gauge of short-term momentum and short-term trend. So you had a big breakdown yesterday. We closed on the lows yesterday. Some good fight back, and we basically got right back to like the highs of yesterday. But like I said, no cigar, close, no cigar in terms of getting back above that 5 period moving average. If you were looking for a little bit more confirmation, we didn't get it yet. But again, I think you have to look at where we came from in terms of the price action to the downside yesterday was pretty decent. Looking at this 1 hour chart, same thing. Price did just sneak back into the bottom of the value area, which is essentially where we started the day yesterday. Level to trade against here is 478.66. Now remember, something that I said in the weekend member video was that with this week is particularly has seasonal weakness this last week of June. And what it will probably do is shake out some of the hot money in the market. And I think that's kind of what we've seen, since the tail end of last week and the beginning of this week so far, shaking out weekends in the market and some of that hot money. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Do I know, we'll probably see some more whippy, but, again, I'm not making a prediction for tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, but I think that you're going to get more whippy price action, whether that comes all the way at the end of the week or sometime in between, because don't forget, you also have the Russell rebalance, right? And I illustrated this earlier in the week, but I'll just rehash this very quick. When everybody says Russell rebalance, they think, oh, Russell, IWM, right? Small caps. Well, there's a lot more to that. If you look at, for example, If you look at and it's on, and again, it's all about the assets. There's $59 billion that are tracking the IWM minus the short interest, which you're probably looking at short interests. Short interest is about 82 million shares. So, and that's 82 million shares short interest, did I say? And then looking at the shares outstanding. So, it's about probably what, about $40 billion in assets. Now, don't forget, there's all types of other Russell ETFs too. Take a look, for example, this is the IWB ETF, right? So total assets 37 million, is 37, excuse me, billion dollars tracking this one. What about the growth and value, right? Well, there's actually more assets tracking this growth ETF. Take a look at the assets in this thing. Right, this is $95 billion that are tracking the growth, right? And then of course there's value, that's IWD, right? These are large cap. Then there's also the small cap value versus growth. And I don't think there's much short interest in this one. I think there's more short interest. The short interest is only one million shares. I think that is right there. So not a big short interest in the IWF ETF, right? And again, if you look at the overall, how many shares do we have outstanding in this? 96. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's very, very little short interest. But yeah, so there's more long assets tracking the large cap Russell ETF. So what does that mean? It means that you're going to see some shake and bake over the next couple of days and a little bit on Friday. Now remember, going back to quadruple witching, where the S&P and the Qs rebalanced last Friday, you didn't really see that much price action change, besides like right at the end of the day with things like Apple, but NVIDIA never really budged. Keep in mind, all of the big portfolio desks at big banks, and this is what I used to do back in the day, was one of my roles for a little while. It's pre-positioning. So, for example, there was like 5 million shares for Amazon that were MOC today. I would think that has something to do with the Russell rebalance. And again, why are they doing that on Tuesday? Because they don't wait till Friday. They essentially trade ahead of the event, right? And it's called pre-positioning, right? And that's that the SEC says that that's okay in order if it's to facilitate order flow. So in any event, that's a lot of some of the whippy moves that you're seeing. I just wanted to explain that. So there's the Qs. I was watching this chart because I tweeted this out and I said, we got a rejection here at 478.66. And it looked like that might be a firm rejection for the day. But if you look what transpired here, this was around 12 o'clock and buyers came right back in here right around 1 o'clock today. So weak during the middle of the day and a nice move over the rest of the session. I'm going to skip IWM and I'm going to go over some single stock movers. NVIDIA really had a really sharp move back today. Let's look at this in terms of the daily. Let's do the same exercise here. Let's look at this in terms of the daily chart. 20-day moving average. And again, talking about shaking people out a little bit, right? Everybody's saying, oh, let's see if it stops at the 20-day moving average. Nope, it went lower, broke the 20-day moving average, but today comes right back. Now, it's not above the 5-period moving average, but that's a really nice comeback from yesterday's low. We almost took out in the overnight session, by the way. We almost took out this lower VPOC, very close to taking this 113.86 one out. But notice the same things, very similar to the Qs, right? Got to the bottom of value right around this morning, came back, pulled back a little bit around in that 12 o'clock hour, but ultimately watch this 125.72 level. All right, what else? Well, there a lot of other movers. One of the stars for me has been this FTAI. Right? I talked about how I really nailed the getting long this one back in here, on this candle pushing back to the top of value. Look at this thing go. This thing hit $100 today, right? And again, some of these aerospace names really strong. Look at this one, saw call activity today too. This one is on our watch list. This is AER. I put this on the watch list as well, even though it was already long. FTAI coming into today. I had FTAI long in both the TTG trend portfolio and my trading account. If I really like a name, I'll have it on long in both accounts. But that's a nice name, and again, it just shows you how strong some of these, not necessarily airlines, but the companies that go into and make the components and so on and so forth in this group. Even with Airbus falling yesterday I believe in the overnight session, I believe that they were down like 6-7%, something like that. So very, very strong. Other names like just kind of going from our watch list, Carvana. I kind of picked the wrong one here. Sometimes that happens, but we did talk a lot about Carvana. Look at the move over the last 2 days. Still a 20% short interest in this name. I went long Car Guru because I've liked this chart. I've been watching it, but it just really didn't get any movement. I'm still long the name, and but just not seeing that same momentum as Carvana. So it was both of these were on a watch list. I just by chance picked the wrong one. That happens sometimes. Other names, hymns. Then we kind of get into some smaller names, which were really interesting. Hymns found support right at the speaking of the 20-day moving average, which you're probably going to hear me say a lot of, right in there, 20-day moving average. CHWY, I don't, there's probably decent short interest with this one. Funny because we saw a lot of calls that hit the tape right before the end of the day on Friday, right, which was right in here. And look at this thing explode higher. Remember, it's kind of sold off in the after hours yesterday, but look at the squeeze going on in this thing. Speaking of squeezes, GME also was kind of perky at the end of the day. I actually like this chart. Again, I'm not like a big trader in terms of GameStop, but I kind of like the support right in here. I think this is a good spot. Let's see if I don't know if it's trading up after hours, but it made a nice move there at the end of the day. It did get up to this VPOC and stops right in there, but again, a lot of momentum in that name. Also, so a lot of good performance on our watch list. We went over Carvana, we went over AER, which was another name. CAMT, which was a name that I got long. This is one of again, I like to sometimes go after some things that not everybody is watching, right? There's so much call activity and put activity too in NVIDIA. It's so noisy. I would rather go after something like this. CAMT also bounced on the 20-day moving average. I got involved in this one. I also like Dell here. I started a position in Dell today. Again, this may take a little time, but I like the support here right at the 50-day moving average inside day. So no conclusion from yesterday, but I think if it breaks below here, then you get out of the way. But for now, giving it the benefit of the doubt. Another name that I was going to go over was Broadcom. If you liked Broadcom a week ago, do you not like it here, right? This was the big jump up on earnings, went all the way up to about $1,700, followed through to 1834. Look at it. It's all the way down to about 1,600. So I think this is going to be an interesting one to watch to see if this one bounces. We have seen some call activity in this one too, the last couple days. Palo Alto. This is a name I got shaken out of yesterday. I didn't like how it kind of closed back inside the value area. Still does not close on the highs, but I think give it a chance here. And I'm actually liking this one a little bit better than CrowdStrike right now. CrowdStrike I do have on long in the TTG trend portfolio. Look at that. It did actually get back above its 5-period moving average. So not a bad move today for CrowdStrike. All right, a few other ones. Uber kind of sold off a little bit today after the initial bounce. Google, how can I not cover Google? Really nice, Friday this thing broke out of its June value area. A little bit of like an inside digestion day yesterday and a push higher. Also, what looks pretty decent now is Meta too. Meta was kind of quiet last week and digested a little bit, but that's a really nice candle in Meta today. So I think that one looks pretty decent too. A few other names to kind of go over. I'll try to go through these really quickly. HPE. Again, almost got down to the 20-day moving average. Nice bounce, right? This is another strong earnings name. GEV, I actually really like this chart, right? This is GE Vernova, very close to breaking back out again. I like the digestion here, right? And kind of looks ready to continue to move higher. Snap is another one too. I'm just not going to trade some of these names, but Snap saw call activity, and this one just closed right around the top of value area. A lot of call activity in that one. We did see calls in Rivian today too, which has had this announcement and is trading decently here higher. I was able to grab some shares, and as soon as that announcement hit, $5 billion investment with wow, look at all the VPOCs taken out there. There's 4 1-hour VPOCs taken out there. Next one up is 19, right? Let's just take a look at to see where this looks like, what this looks like too on the daily chart. 17, it's probably this VPOC up here, but no, they were just 1-hour VPOC. So pretty strong. And again, just interesting to see the momentum, the momentum kind of come back after just a couple days of digestion. Let's see, is there any other names that I wanted to cover? TMDX is another one too that I think is interesting, right? The healthcare names have been acting very well this week. Hood geared back up, and here's Bitcoin, by the way. And then I will go through a couple of these charts, but Bitcoin futures, this was our chart of the day yesterday. So just an inside day, but it did find support right where it needed to, which was this 59,105 level. All right, guys, I'll end it there for the day. A lot more charts to go through, but I think that's enough for one video. Guys, have a great night. See you tomorrow. I will be on Benzinga tomorrow, by the way, at what time? I think right around 8:30 tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great night. See you tomorrow.